Thanks for taking time to listen to this episode of the Real ResQ podcast. Take a minute to go to therealresq.com to check out these and other great deals from our sponsors here at the Real ResQ. This episode of the Real ResQ podcast is brought to you by Breeze Eastern, the world's only dedicated helicopter hoist and winch provider. Axness, because when lives are at stake and conditions are challenging, clear communication is of the utmost importance. Life Saving Systems Corporation. We do our work so you can do yours. Tough gear for tough jobs. And SR3 ResQ Concepts, because you don't know what you don't know. Breeze Eastern. They dedicate themselves to our helicopter rescue world. Since the very first helicopter rescue in November of 1945, Breeze Eastern has designed and manufactured superior rescue hoist solutions. While much of the technology and the unique mission requirements have changed over the past 75 years, their commitment to the rescuers, the operators, and those being rescued has not. Contact them today by visiting them at breeze-eastern.com. The Axness PNG wireless ICS system can bring cutting-edge wireless intercommunication system technology to any aircraft. The PNG system can be fully integrated into an existing ICS system or can be carried on and off as a mobile base station. They can go anywhere at any time on any aircraft. Plus, with the strongest and most robust waterproof handheld on the market, this system can take a hit and keep working. Their wireless intercom systems are designed to enhance situational awareness through improved communication capability. This system brings superior noise canceling technology to eliminate rotor wash and engine noise from your ICS. The Axness PNG wireless system is currently deployed in more than 1,800 public safety, air ambulance, and search and rescue aircrafts worldwide. I have personally used the Axness system in 4 different countries and on 5 different airframes. It is awesome. If you want more information, contact them today at axness.com. That's AXNES.com. You just make sure you tell them Quinny sent me. Life Saving Systems Corporation. They manufacture the world's toughest helicopter rescue gear. From my favorite harness as a rescueman, the Triton harness, to the rescue baskets, the litters, and of course, the most popular hook in all helicopters, the D-Lock. The team at LSC will cut, bend, sew, weld, and machine these products into existence every day. We do our work so you can do yours. LSC. Tough gear for tough jobs. Check them out today at lifesavingsystems.com and follow them on Instagram at Rescue Gear. That's at ResQGEAR. And SR3 ResQ Concepts is a training company that can help with your helicopter training, a standardization and safety check, or maybe just an audit or an FAA refresher. They are here to bring your agency up to date with the most current techniques, rules, regulations, and equipment. The training staff is awesome. With the certified flight instructor pilots, experienced crew members, which I am happy to say that I am one of them, they offer training in rescue, medical, tactical, firefighting, ground operations, and night vision goggle use. SR3 is also partnered with Petzl to assist with personal protective equipment and the highly specific Lazard. SR3 also goes beyond the helicopter world as they provide high-angle rescue training and tactical medicine training. Contact them today at sr3rescueconcepts.com or over on Instagram at sr3_rescue. Up next, we got 2 guys that come to us from Seminole County Sheriff's Office out of Seminole County in Florida. The cool part about this is the fact that a week prior to this recording is when this rescue actually happened. And we get to hear it like right after it happened. So we got a little bit of news footage and we've got some video clips right out of Danny's helmet that are going to be all posted on Instagram. Go check them out. It is amazing. So the fact of the matter is we get to debrief this as well as hear it from their side. And what makes this so cool is that not only do we hear it from their side, but we understand how much training went into this type of a rescue. And it made it so easy, so seamless, and then the lessons learned afterwards. It was brilliant. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Steve Farris and Mr. Danny Casanova. My name is Jason Quinn. I am United States Coast Guard Rescue Swimmer number 500. These are my rescues and rescues from those of us that put our lives on the line every day so others may live. This is the Real ResQ Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Real ResQ. Oh man, if we got a treat today, I am stoked. So from this recording a week ago, these guys made this rescue and I'm lucky enough to have them come on. To make this even better, this is kind of like another visit from these guys. So Seminole County Sheriff's Office out of Seminole County down in Florida, episode 17 with Dan Antle and John Valentino. Those guys had a killer rescue. And now today we've got Lieutenant Steve Farris and the crew chief amongst many other roles at the Sheriff's Office, Mr. Danny Casanova. What's up, fellas?
What's going on?
Morning.
Another day in
Thanks for having
paradise.
us.
Heck yeah.
Yes, sir. Down here in paradise in Florida, it's a sunny, beautiful, warm day.
I love it. Is it going to rain at 2:00 on schedule?
Probably.
More likely, yeah.
Oh, I love it. It's funny. I had an opportunity to come down and train with you guys a couple of years ago, and I remember that specifically. Like we ended up pushing training up to like start time at 0500, just so we could beat the rain and be debriefing and done by 2 p.m. Oh, it was great.
Keeps you on your toes.
Totally. So let's get into this rescue here, you guys. Like this literally happened last week. It's been all over the news and whatnot. And so I'm really excited that you guys are here to tell us about it. But basically, the way the news broadcast it, it was a guy in a canoe flipped out of the canoe, him and his buddies, and he ended up getting in the forest. And next thing you know, he's lost for 40 hours. Is that about accurate for the call?
That's pretty close. On Sunday, this happened a little over a week ago. On Sunday, this all started at 2:00. They went canoeing at Alexander Springs, which is one of our beautiful crystal clear spring-fed rivers here in Central Florida. And he went off with two of his buddies, family members, and went canoeing, and the canoe kept flipping, whether that was accidental or on purpose. We see that often as three guys get in a canoe, they're having fun, and it keeps flipping. So one of the guys had enough, and he said, "I'm walking back." Well, little did he know, there's no walking back from where he was. The woods was so thick and so dense that come 9:00 in the evening, he still hadn't made it back. And this all started at 2. So that's when they reported him missing.
Wow. All right. So now when the call came in, I assume that you guys just did like a search pattern over the top of the forest and stuff. Like, how did all that go down?
This was actually our neighboring county in Lake County. We're Seminole County. So they have their own helicopters with limited staffing. They're not 24/7. So we didn't get the call till the next day. On Monday, I started getting calls. Hey, can we assist? Can you, if we find this guy, he's probably going to need a hoist. So we got together a hoist team and did a flight out there, took a look for him, didn't see him. Their helicopter had been searching all morning. We did a look-see around midday, didn't see anything. I mean, it was thick. We had coordinates where he was last seen and going into the woods. But of course, you have to, what really happened here, no one knows. It's an interesting story. So they have to look into all possible outcomes. But from what I heard, I was like, I think he's out there. I really do. They asked us to thermal image it at 2 a.m. So we sent our crew over there at 2 a.m. They took a look, didn't see anything. So now we're into day 2. Tuesday morning, I wake up and I'm just like, I just had this gut feeling. I'm like, I think he's out there. Let me call the command post and see, because they had been camping out there 24/7,
Yeah.
organizing this search, trying to find this guy. And he said, yeah, we interviewed the two guys on the canoe, stories matched. And, it just made sense to me that he had to be somewhere. He would have gone in the woods, tried to walk back, and he's just lost, walking in circles. So I told our team, let's be ready to go. I have a feeling they're going to just spot him today by the ground. They were going to send some ground teams in, bloodhounds, and guys just coming through the woods. So they took a few boats and parked it in that area where he was last seen and just started going through the woods. And sure enough, within, I think it was 3 or 4 hours, I get the call on my cell phone. They were super excited. They found him. Can you come hoist him out? So that was a pretty incredible phone call. We all, of course, we train for this. And here it is again. So.
Oh, snap. Okay. All
yeah,
right,
I was pretty excited when Steve told me about it. It's like, no way. So I started making phone calls. I started getting other crews to come out here just to make sure they were on standby, just to cover the other calls that because we're still 24/7, and we also have to assist all the agencies within our county. So I was just ready to go, man. I was like, let's do it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So now let's get kind of right to scene. See you guys, and this is some of the video that you have right from the helicopter. And I know, Danny, you had a GoPro on, so you got some footage of you guys hoisting out and stuff, or getting the victim out and your firefighter. And to remind everybody, if you haven't listened to episode 17, like, you guys have a very cool dynamic. Is the sheriff's office has a helicopter, the pilot, the crew chief, hoist operator, and then your paramedic rescue guy is from the adjoining, not adjoining, but surrounding fire stations. So you basically fly over there, land at the firehouse, be like, hey boys, get in, and then you go. Right? Exactly.
In this case, sometimes we'll have them meet us at the hangar. And in this case, we had two lieutenants that were also paramedic rescue swimmers that were working at the training facility for our Seminole County Fire Department. They were like 10 minutes down the road. So when I got the call, they jumped in the vehicle and drove here, actually, so we could do a thorough pre-flight, take our time, talk about what we had. I mean, obviously he'd been out there for 2 days and he was dehydrated. We had people with him giving him water, but he could not walk out on his own. So they were just standing by with him, the ground troops, waiting for us to get there. So we did a good solid brief, did our frat, talked about it. Everybody good, we ready to do this, and everybody was like, come on, Steve, let's go. So
Steve, you're keeping everybody in check, like, yeah, we'll get there,
right.
Man, that's awesome. All right, so let's get on scene. So you guys start rolling up on scene. I imagine you're on radios with guys on the ground.
Yeah, so we had the communications with them because they had the location. They gave us the lat long, so we plugged that in the computer. And that was pretty awesome because I was able to plug that in on the mapping system. And within seconds, when we get on scene, it's like, oh, there they are. So we put them on the screen, and then we just start doing the search pattern, trying to look at, what other obstacles we have on scene, and then just take it from there.
Yeah, Danny did an incredible job. He's a wizard with all this technology, and he typed in that coordinates that we got on the 11-minute flight to the scene from Sanford International Airport. He types in the coordinates, and I'm talking, okay, guys, when we get there, me and the paramedics will be looking out the window. Danny's going to be running the camera. And, I figured for sure I would see him first. Danny's like, before we could even get there and look out, he's like, I got him. And we're like, what? You can even hear it in the audio of the highlight. I was like, already? Wow.
That's awesome.
When you watch the video, you should, it's pretty funny. But yeah, the technology is great. When someone, obviously once the ground units got there, we had coordinates from their equipment. So it was like rock solid, spot on. We didn't have to go search or anything. It was right to business.
Yeah. Did they have to make a clearing area for you, or was it already, because the video shows those guys kind of an open area. Was that something that they made, or was that already there?
I was told they did clear out.
I was going to say, from my understanding, FWC and the other units that were there, they actually made that opening. It was like a 10 by 10, I think it was. But it was a pretty decent space where we can actually deploy, no issues. And we were able to basically just run through our checklist, and then just on the first one, we were able to just insert them in, and then the paramedic went down there and made contact. And then from there, we just waited until they were ready to come back.
Nice. How long was he down on scene?
It wasn't long. I want to say just a couple of minutes. I mean, because the good thing is that there were units already there on the ground. So they were just basically just waiting on us so we can rescue, take them on board, and then go land offsite. So they already had an LZ already selected. They had units making sure there's nobody coming around, no vehicles. And so we brought them on board, and then we landed offsite. And the paramedics that were waiting with an ambulance, they took them after.
Yeah, Lieutenant James didn't need long. We decided to put him in the screamer suit as opposed to a strap, because we just didn't know. He'd been out there for 2 days with no nourishment, and his feet and legs were pretty torn up. He was walking around with no shoes on in that unbelievable terrain, infested with alligators and snakes and spiders and everything else you can imagine that everybody jokes about. We have here in Florida, lots of dangers, but so he needed a couple of minutes. I mean, we do this so often. It's so amazing. We're like, it's just like training, just the real thing. So
yeah, it's funny you say that, because after we were done, we're like, oh, finally we did it. It was like, man, that went pretty well, just like training. It was like, yes.
All right, for all you bean counters out there that yell at us about how much it costs to do training, this is why. All right, I'm just gonna help everybody out there. All right. Dan, I gotta ask you. So you get on scene, con in, and you're over the top. Like, give me a play-by-play. Like, was it easy getting right in there, or what?
So it was good that we had the lat long, so I was able to plug that in. We spot them, then we start going. We run through the checklist. We basically start from the cabin. I get the okay to start hoisting. I come out to the skid. I do my operational check. I bring the hook in, then I get my paramedic. He's getting off comms, he's getting ready to go. And I hook him on, and then bring him out to the skid. From there, I'm just like, it's like right there. You still got a visual, go forward. And it just went so smooth. It almost like, wow, I can't believe I'm doing this, but it's happening.
And you guys do dynamic hoisting out there. So you start a ways away and hoist in as you're flying forward. And for everybody that didn't, I should have actually mentioned this earlier. You guys are flying an A-Star. Like, it's a small helicopter with a tiny little cable. So for you guys, but I remember being that, as soon as we're either above the trees, like you're coming in dynamic, you pull into that hover static in between all the trees, and then boom, as soon as that hoist cable is clear, you're back into forward flight. So, man, it's
an incredible machine. It is. Once you get those back seats out, it has a little more space than you would think. But yeah, compared to what you're used to working in, it's a small house, but
small office.
We have a lot of power. I mean, we're doing these missions with tandem hoists and the crew on board, and I even took an extra paramedic just in case. He was sitting up in the front left with me, and we're still only pulling 80% power and making all this happen. And so it's an incredible machine. It does really well for us, and we couldn't be happier with the reliability and the safety of it.
Man, that is awesome. All right. So now once he gets down on deck, paramedic gets down on deck, packages doesn't take more than a couple minutes. You guys probably did 2 circles up top, like 2 patterns, maybe 1. And you're
it was probably like 1.5, maybe.
We went sightseeing, and we went and checked out the springs for a second. And,
that's so good.
Then he radioed up and said he's ready. So we eased back over there.
Cool. When
give
you
him
started
some space, with the noise and all, give him a little bit of space, get out, give him some distance.
That's awesome. And then, so Danny, when you went to pick him up, because now you're doing a double up,
yes, so we did a tandem on the way back. Since I'm already familiar with the area, we just did the first insert. We come back in, the hook's already on its way, and he's ready. I mean, the pickup was so smooth, I can't help it that I have a good pilot. He knows what I'm doing.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know what he's doing. So it's like we were on sync that day. It was like beautiful. It's like I couldn't have done any better, only because we're working together.
That just goes to show how good of a hoist operator you are, because you have to stroke the pilot ego. You have to do that. And if you don't do that, you can have it. Yeah, man, this is a great job, sir. You're coming in just right. Good speed, good approach. It's perfect.
Listen, we got the easy job in this case, the crew chief. I've gone out there once and tried to manage that cable and hoist, and I'm like, this is all you guys, man. I'm good. I'll stick to piloting.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Last bit of questions before you guys get into landing. So once you get them into the aircraft, you guys are into forward flight, pulling the victim into the aircraft along with your rescuer. I know it's tight back there. Was there any issues there, or was everything cool enough to just keep going? Patient care, no problem. He was pretty happy, smiles, or what?
Yeah. So just looking at my first impression, just looking at him, he just looked like, could you imagine being out in the woods for 40 hours? He looked like he was just done, Yeah. He looked like he just needed a good rest. And a good thing that he was kind of short. He was probably no more than 5'5", maybe. So that helped, because in the back cabin, as you're familiar with it, it's pretty small, tight back there. So I drag him in as he's coming in, and paramedic Lieutenant Jane, he's talking to him, just assuring him that everything's going to be good. We're going to go land, just kind of give him a brief of what's going on, because he still probably doesn't know what's happening. Yeah. He just knows he's inside the helicopter, but he doesn't know what's coming next. But he's talking to him, and he's basically communicating, and everything. The conversation there is good, and within minutes, maybe even seconds later, we're landing, and everything went well from there.
Man, awesome. Good patient pass down and brief, and then load back in and go home, and that's it, huh?
Pretty much.
Yeah. A funny tidbit, I talked to the detective that interviewed him after the fact, and there was some questions I wanted them to ask him, and I think they're going to try to follow up. Like, we were all over that the day before, but the trees were so thick. It's like, why did you not? You had to have heard the helicopters. Couldn't you have moved out into somewhat of a open area? And so we had seen you. But one of the questions that they did ask him, or he did comment on, was he insists and swears that there's Bigfoots out there, that there's a Sasquatch in the woods. I thought that was pretty funny, not to fuel any conspiracy theories, but I think when you get in those scenarios, I've heard that before, where people hear noises and they swear. I had another guy we hoisted that was out there for 5 days without his medication and no food or water, and he said he was sleeping with the bears, literally.
All right.
Yeah. So I think I'm starting to notice a trend where people spend long periods of time in the woods. They have a lot of time to think, or their mind gets to the best of them.
Yeah. Wow.
I can imagine some had to do with the deprived of sleep and not being able to eat, and just like, am I ever going to get out of here?
Oh man, that's awesome. All right. So we're going to debrief this a little bit right now, which is kind of fun. And out of curiosity, it sounds like everything went exactly the way it was briefed and planned, but is there anything you guys would have done different on this case?
Yeah, so on the initial, I guess, debrief, so we found out that there's a different channel that we can utilize in the future. We use an analog. We have so many radios inside the aircraft, but there's this particular channel that we use that we find out that we can have a digital one, which we could get better reception. It's more clear. We didn't have any communications issue in this scenario. But in the future, we're going to utilize the digital one, because apparently it's a lot better. So,
sweet.
Yeah, of course, after the fact, the comm centers all got together, and we're still debriefing. They did a online link I got sent for a debrief questionnaire, which is great. I think we all do good at collaborating different agencies and debrief. But of course, after the fact, they were like, oh, didn't you know this channel was there? And you could have. So we went up and tested it the next day. And of course, it was crystal clear. And the one we were using was patched. and it didn't sound great, but it did the job. There really wasn't any lack of communication or information. We were literally talking to the command post and to the folks that were in the field. We were able to ask patient weight and get an updated, patient status. And so it was great. I think, that's really I agree. I think the main thing, this one just really went smoothly,
Everybody wants that 4K, it was like 780p, but hey, did you know you can use 4K? Oh, well, next time we'll use that one.
Right. Thanks for letting me know after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
Man, well done, boys. Well done. Thank you guys for coming on and sharing this and letting us know just how it went down, man. I appreciate it. I love it. So if you guys have anything else you want to share, I'm all ears. If not, we can sign off.
No, we appreciate you and reaching out and getting us back on the show, and your enthusiasm and everything you're doing for the industry. We wholeheartedly support you, and it's been a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it. We do so many things, a lot of things just kind of get forgotten or just kind of like, oh, we do that all the time. But, for this particular one, in my case, since I was part of this rescue, I'm just glad I was able to document it and then show it so that we can, utilize it in the future to either inspire more people or, just continue training and see what we can do with this, because we do a lot of training, but there's a reason for it, and if we can save one life, that matters.
Well said, sir. Well said. I like it. Well, gentlemen, you guys are probably on duty. I see you in flight suits. So you know what? Go get another one and then come back. All right.
We will.
Awesome.
We'll get back at it.
I love it. With that, guys, thank you again so much for sharing this. I can't wait to get this out there to everybody. So enjoy.
Thanks, Quinny. Be careful out there. Come back and see us soon.
I'm trying. I'm working on it. I promise. Right on. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Go. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Real ResQ podcast. Please take a minute to like, subscribe, and hit that share button. I'm pulling chocks and taking off. But before I go, if anyone out there has a rescue story they would be willing to share, I would be humbled and honored to have you on as a guest. Or if you have any questions about rescue or anything else we talk about here, send an email to jason@therealresq.com. That's Jason at TheRealResQ.com. You can also check us out on our web pages, therealresq.com, our Facebook page, and our Instagram page @TheRealResQ. Again, a special thank you to all of you staying on the watch today. Always remember, when that SAR alarm goes off, those in distress are praying for a miracle. They are going to get you. Until next time, fly safe and swim hard.